This is Top 30. Coming up, artificial intelligence is being used to make gas stations safer. These cities have the most annoying neighbors. And the words people look up the most may surprise you. Welcome to the show. I'm Kristin Smith, and here are 30 things you need to know right now. According to a new survey, 75% of Americans take supplements. But are they necessary? They may be for some and not for others. Before deciding if you should take them, there are some things you should know. First and foremost, not all vitamins do what they claim, so make sure you do your homework. Second, too much of certain vitamins and minerals can have adverse effects. For example, taking too much vitamin C can cause nausea and diarrhea, and taking too much B6 can cause nerve pain, so be careful with your daily intake. Third, some vitamins can lessen the efficiency of other medications. For example, vitamin K isn't good for those taking blood-thinning medication, and St. John's wort can lessen the effectiveness of birth control. And fourth, you probably don't need to be taking multivitamins. Many of us turn to them hoping to get everything in one place, but according to some recent studies, they don't really do anything for us. And if there's any confusion, experts recommend just getting your nutrients from food. Take a second to look around your workplace. You're probably seeing people from a wide range of generations. Well, according to Glassdoor, although you work at the same place, the desired benefits from your employer couldn't be more different. In fact, 85% of employees felt their benefits package failed them in meeting future and current financial needs. Baby boomers are working longer and retiring later, with Generation X following suit. In contrast, millennials or Generation Y are least interested in benefits packages. Baby boomers value salary level, health insurance, and a solid retirement plan. Generation Xers value a 401k plan with matching benefits, job security, advancement, and work-life balance. While millennials value benefit choices and options, paid time off, ability to work remotely, and a great deal of flexibility. Employers can offer different benefit packages to different employees, but not in a way that discriminates. The best way to tailor a benefits package to various employees is to offer a tiered benefits package tied to a worker's grade level. Now we know why a one-size-fits-all plan is next to impossible. Now let's go to Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know today. So Danielle, this is such a hot topic lately. A new study says childhood concussions are worse than we thought.
Yeah, well, this is pretty disturbing, Kristin. Another study in the journal Pediatrics says kids may still have symptoms of a concussion a year after it happens. Researchers studied 350 children between the ages of 4 and 15, finding up to 1/3 of the kids still had symptoms. Girls were more likely to have persistent symptoms than boys. Study authors say special accommodations may be needed when a child does return to school to make sure that the recovery continues. Want a good night's sleep? Switch up your PJs. New research says wearing wool is best. According to Australian researchers, wool is better than cotton or polyester at regulating your body temperature to keep you in what is known as the thermal comfort zone. Say that 10 times fast. Thermal comfort zone. The University of Sydney study found those wearing wool to bed fell asleep faster, they got more rest than those who did not. Online fad, or is it really worth a try? Peanut butter and mayo sandwiches, are they a thing? The debate was sparked after Southern magazine Garden & Gone posted an article about the combo. The magazine says it became a staple for many Southern households during the Great Depression, and since then, many have taken to Twitter to voice their disgust, calling the combination a crime, but others are saying it's not that bad. In fact, one person saying the mayo helps keep the peanut butter from sticking to the roof of your mouth. I'll never know, but that's what you need to know. Kristin, are you game for a tasty peanut butter and mayo sandwich?
No, I think I'm gonna have to pass on that one, but great reporting though. Thanks, Danielle. Whether it's a cookie recipe or how to tie a tie, whenever you're confused about something, Google has the answers. And when it's a word you're stuck on, Google takes you to the definition of definitions, Merriam-Webster. And they've released their list of the most looked up words on their online dictionary. And atop the list is a term we all grapple with on a day-to-day basis. And it's not as much for its definition, but rather for when to use affect and effect. Merriam-Webster defines affect as a verb and affect as a noun. So it would be, I was affected when I didn't know the definition, versus the special effects were amazing. The next term is a conundrum. It is defined as an intricate and difficult problem, which can be ambiguous, which is something that is capable of being understood in two or more possible ways. Ubiquitous is another word that tops the list. Its definition described as something that's widespread and constantly encountered, like a popular celebrity or traffic. Some of these words may be ambiguous, but they do have a big effect on us. So now you can avoid the conundrum of being affected by having to join the many who Google these ubiquitous terms. I think I'm finally getting it. All right, leave it to the Ivy League to make progress solving football's concussion problem. This as the league made a small rule change to what many consider the game's most dangerous play, kickoffs. In 2015, kickoffs made up just 6% of plays, but were responsible for 21% of concussions, as players built momentum running across the whole field before colliding. Seeing those stats, the 8 Ivy League teams agreed to move kickoff from the 35 to 40-yard line. As a result of the change, almost 3 times as many players kneeled for a touchback, ending the play rather than running down the field to return the kickoff. According to research in the medical journal JAMA, the change also cut traumatic brain injuries. With fewer players colliding at full speed during the return, concussion rates fell from nearly 11 per 1,000 kickoffs to just over 2. Concussions are still a major issue, but researchers believe more rule changes could have a major impact since prevention is easier than treatment. Check this out. There's a new care center in California that's changing lives. It's a miniature village for people suffering from Alzheimer's that's set in the 1950s. It's called Glenner Town Square, and the entire place is made up of things from a time period that many people remember fondly. There's a diner, a pub, a library, even a movie theater. Those suffering from Alzheimer's often forget new memories and think they're living in the past. So this place doesn't make them more confused. It just provides comfort. It's based on the idea of reminiscence therapy, which uses old memories to encourage conversation and engagement. This manufactured town is actually improving brain function and the quality of life. It really makes the disease more tolerable for patients and for their families. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Artificial intelligence could be coming to a gas station near you. Microsoft and Shell have teamed up to install cameras at gas stations. Those cameras can be used to bust people lighting up cigarettes next to the pump. Using artificial intelligence, the cameras can determine if frames of video have cigarettes in them and send an alert to gas station managers. Microsoft says they can also be trained to look for other unsafe behavior, like reckless driving, improper fueling, or theft. The technology has already been deployed at gas stations in Thailand and Singapore, but the partnership isn't just limited to gas stations. Shell says they've started using similar AI in oil refineries and on offshore drilling rigs. They think it can help predict when equipment needs maintenance and alert workers. The companies will also use the technology for more efficient drilling. If the program is successful, the technology will come to other gas stations in the future. And the holidays are a time of the year to come together, but as the saying goes, you can pick your friends, but not your neighbors. Well, a recent study broke down the cities with the most annoying neighbors, and Mike Jarek from Fox 29 in Philadelphia joins us with the results. Hey, Mike.
Well, the survey was put together by this group called ValueWalk.com. As you said, I'm in Philadelphia. We're number 4 on the list of the most annoying people. Number 3, the folks who live in Austin, Texas. Number 2, Miami. And number 1, Dallas. Oh yeah, because I'm an Eagles fan, just thinking of Dallas Cowboy fans. Yes, they're so annoying.
So Mike, what do people find most annoying about these cities?
It's mostly partying, loud talking, loud music, well, noise. Just noise. They're noisy, annoying people.
Well, for the record, I don't find Philadelphia annoying at all. Thanks, Mike. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 29 Philadelphia, sports are a great way of teaching kids essential life lessons, and the instructors at Spirit Gymnastics in North Wales, Pennsylvania, are teaching a lesson that can often be overlooked.
I want to encourage people to not panic when you see an officer, to greet them, to say hello, to interact and communicate.
So gymnastics coach Mary Birch invited Officer Brian Whistler of the Upper Gwinnett Township Police Department to come in and show the kids who he and the officers like him truly are.
We like to get involved We like to make sure that we're seen in the public because it helps build that relationship of trust. So it's just a matter of going out and not being afraid to embarrass yourself. So I took the opportunity to, have some fun.
In our next story from Fox 4 Dallas, for the past 8 years, Patty Rimmick has tied colorful bows around the necks of thousands of prayer bears, all for children at Cook Children's Medical Center. And with the help of donations from local churches and businesses, last year alone, they were able to bring 15,000 prayer bears to patients as their way of letting them know they're loved by the community.
I brought a present for you today.
Thank you.
This is a prayer bear for you.
And in our final story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay, the difference between good and bad behavior is one of the first lessons kids learn in life. And one Florida school is teaching it to students in a different way, all in order to help stop domestic violence before it starts. Camille Chapman is an educator for the Safe Place and Rape Crisis Center and is an expert on tailoring the message of domestic violence to children. And by working with students at all levels throughout the school year, the course's goal is to help kids understand the feelings of others and build up their own self-esteem so that one day they may end bullying and domestic violence altogether. Okay, some are better with names, others with faces, and now psychologists from the University of York have determined the average person recognizes 5,000 of the latter. While many have studied the process of facial recognition, this is the first evidence-based study to try and pin down people's actual capacity. In the first of 2 tests, volunteers aged 18 to 61 were given an hour to recall mental images of as many people they knew personally as possible. Names were not required. In the second test, volunteers were shown images of more than 3,400 celebrities and asked how many they could recognize. Extrapolating out and combining the results from both tests, the researchers determined most had a recognition range of 1 to 10,000 faces. While more testing is needed, researchers believe these results may help improve facial recognition technology, which surprisingly still lags behind actual humans. All right, how about this story? The immigration debate has found a new battlefield, primetime TV. Analyzing 143 episodes from last season, The Hollywood Reporter and nonprofit media group Define American found depictions of immigrant characters on TV were far worse than reality. For one, 34% of TV immigrants were associated with criminal activity. And while less than 1% of real immigrants are or were behind bars for non-immigration offenses, 11% of fictional immigrants found themselves in prison. In reality, 24% of immigrants are undocumented and 49% naturalized. On TV, those statuses are completely reversed. And while the characters are fake, experts say media portrayals of marginalized communities can have a real impact, especially on how these groups are treated in society. In an effort to create more complex portrayals, many stress the need for more diverse voices in the writer's room, or at least consultants who can offer a fresh take. You know, we hear a lot about data breaches and identity theft. It turns out how much risk you face partly depends on where you live. A new study by the finance site Wallet Hub ranked all 50 states by how likely their residents are to have their identity stolen. Nevada came in at number 1. The average amount of money lost was over 13 grand. Florida came in second. New Jersey took third place. Delaware came in fourth. California had the 5th highest number of identity theft cases. The rankings were made by tracking fraud cases and how many laws protect consumers' data in each state. Wallet Hub also has tips to help keep your identity safe. Use extra security for email accounts because the address is probably also the username for several other sites. Sign up for credit monitoring to get alerts about changes like account applications. They can be the first signs of fraud. Alerts on other accounts like credit cards can let users know about any surprise transactions. Consumers can then freeze their credit if they see something suspicious. Don't go anywhere. We have more Top 30 coming right up. Welcome back. Americans were surveyed about their bosses. The results weren't great. 76% of employees told Monster.com they had a toxic boss or have one right now. The survey revealed 4 main types of toxic. More than a quarter described their bosses as power hungry and only looking out for themselves. It was the most common complaint. 18% said their boss was a micromanager. It was just ahead of the 17% who described their employer as incompetent. Another 15% said their boss was never around. One writer told the site Moneyish that a former boss engaged engaged in emotional warfare by pitting employees against each other. Another said, he puts me down in front of everyone and tries to trip me up so I'll fall. A recent survey by LinkedIn found that 35% of people quit over a bad boss. Monster says that if you're ever asked about past bosses in an interview, the best way to answer is by saying something positive, even if it's not true. Moving right along, navigating romantic relationships in today's modern world is no easy task. That's why we brought in the host of Facebook Watches Talking Live, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, to give us tips on finding out if someone truly loves you. Dr. Robbie, do tell.
That's right, Kristin. It's all about observing the signs. And here are the top signs to know if your partner is truly, deeply, and madly in love with you. Notice how the person acts around you. If this person shares their deepest emotions with you and is comfortable showing you the real side of who they are, you're on the right track. How happy is this person to be around you? If they are in love with you, the sight of you or the sound of your voice is guaranteed to make them feel better. See if this person truly values your opinion. If a person really loves you, they'll care about what you think and ask for your advice and opinions. See if the person is there for you. Love is about being there for a person during the good times and the bad. Figure out if this person really gets you and wants what's best for you. Couples should bring out the best in each other. And lastly, notice if they talk positively about your future together. If this person really loves you, the idea of you being in their future should be an absolute given. So Kristin, if you're ever not sure, now you have the power to basically read minds.
Dr. Robbie, I love this. Thank you so much. All right, if you don't know where to find your local news, you could be living in a news desert. New research by the University of North Carolina found that more than 1,300 American communities have lost all local news coverage. It's the result of over 1,800 newspapers closing down or merging since 2004. Hundreds of others have scaled back coverage and published less often. More than 1,400 counties have just one paper, usually a weekly. The team made an interactive map with red areas showing counties that have no newspaper at all. The issue is getting worse as closures and mergers have sped up in the last 5 years. The report says fewer local papers means less coverage of issues that matter to residents, like taxes, zoning, and education. One of the study's authors wrote, "Our sense of community and our trust in democracy at all levels suffer when journalism is lost or diminished." The researchers say that whatever replaces those newspapers will need to serve the same functions in the community. Well, all you parents out there know that bringing home a baby for the first time can be nerve-wracking. Most parents-to-be spend months leading up to it, making sure they have everything the baby will need. A crib, lots of onesies, baby bottles, and blankets. But there are a handful of must-haves that most people don't even think about when getting the home ready for baby. Experts at Consumer Reports compiled a list of items, and it starts with a humidifier. Babies don't know how to blow their noses, so a humidifier will help them stay clear while they sleep. And you don't want to forget a working smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector to make sure the nursery and entire home are kept safe. New parents may not realize babies can have very sensitive skin, and the regular detergent used to wash your clothes might be too harsh. So it's a good idea to buy a bottle of fragrance and dye-free laundry detergent for your newborn. As a mother of two, I can attest those are some solid recommendations. Now listen to this. Doctors in Canada have announced new cardiovascular health guidelines and nationwide screenings for competitive varsity level athletes. They're hoping to identify any unrecognized or overlooked heart conditions that can lead to sudden cardiac death in Canadian athletes. Researchers have already been testing the guidelines for the last 2 years, and athletes seem to have embraced it. Rower Nicholas Grubik said, "Just to know I'm healthy going into the upcoming season and there's nothing that could limit my performance. I think that's definitely valuable information to know." The new guidelines take a tiered approach, starting with a small questionnaire and then moving on to testing like an ECG if it's called for. The doctors behind the program say ideally they'd like to roll it out to include high school athletes and adults who play recreational sports. Stay with us. We have more things you need to know coming up. Welcome back. Since the Great Recession, low-wage jobs such as restaurant and retail have been growing the most. That is, until this year. Now jobs in high-wage industries are growing the fastest. This is being attributed to our strong economy, which makes employers more willing to hire and more willing to pay. There are also so many more high-wage jobs in technology than there used to be. And the housing market is booming again, which really increases demand for skilled employees. Making below $35,000 is considered low wage. $35,000 to $65,000 is middle wage, and high wage is anything above $65,000. The low wage job industry may not be the fastest growing anymore, but it's still growing, and middle wage jobs like construction are starting to make a comeback as well. Overall, this is a positive thing. High-wage jobs growing faster than low-wage jobs means people have more money to spend, which is good for the economy. And that's it for today's show. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on past episodes of Top 30 now on Hulu. You can also download the Top 30 mobile app and visit our website. We want to hear from you, so connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe to @Top30TV for interviews and exclusive web content. We'll see you next time on Top 30.